What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. First things first, I'm back, y'all, but I'm back with the COVID. I am back with COVID. Had a great time on vacation. Missed an episode last week. Came back recording this week. But if it sounds like I'm wearing scuba gear, it's because your girl's sick. Okay. It finally got me. After 2 years of bobbing and weaving. Okay. Your girl was Floyd Mayweather to the COVID-19, but finally caught up to me. With that said, though, I still am going to give y'all Black News Topics, another podcast, because I missed y'all. I hope y'all missed me too. If you didn't, hey, that's on you, Playboy. Okay, I can't do nothing about that. But you're going to get these topics and you're going to get this episode. Thanks again for sticking by the podcast while I took a much needed vacation. And with that said, let's get into it. The BET Awards aired this past Sunday, and when I say this past, when I'm recording this episode, it is a few days after 2022 BET Awards aired, y'all. It was a good old time. I think I said this last week. Whether y'all like it or not, the BET Awards is our award show. That and the NAACP Image Awards. We just gonna have to deal with it. It's a fun time. And once I realized that I need to manage my expectations and stop thinking that it's supposed to be one way or they need to do this X, Y, and Z, and just took in the moment and just had a good time, the show got a lot better for me. Now I'll be looking forward to it, and it's actually one of the funnest award shows. So I suggest that y'all do the same. Okay? Because what we not going to be doing every time the BET Awards come on is being, the Oscars was like, when I watched the Golden Globes. Don't nobody care. The BET Awards is our show. Now, I mentioned this maybe a couple weeks ago. I was really looking forward to the Sean Diddy Combs tribute, aka Puff Daddy. We know every year on the show they give a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's always a good time because there's tribute performances. But in this case, we knew Diddy was going to be jamming, because if you like me, I went to the Bad Boy Family Reunion concert in 2016, okay? It was one of the best shows I've seen in my entire life. But with that said, I feel like this tribute performance was pretty much the same thing. I mean, it was jamming, but it was like the same. They be doing the same Bad Boy tribute every time they go somewhere. I ain't mad. I be jamming, but it be the same iterations of the sequence of performances. With that said, again, I was shocked with some of the people that came out. So let me do a recap, because again, I was bopping the whole time. I was borrowing Wi-Fi and login codes to see this, and I'm glad I did. So started off with Jodeci missing Devontae Swing. Now every time I be seeing Devontae, I think he got an issue with traveling. Word on the street, and this might be one of them old school 1990s, early 2000s rumors. Devontae don't like to fly. I feel like he got to take a tour bus everywhere. So when he don't be showing up, it may be just because he couldn't get out there fast enough. Because listen, you driving cross country on the bus, honey, it's going to take you 40 days and 40 nights. And gas prices, it's $17,000 per gallon for gas. So he probably was just like, I'm cool on all this. Jodeci started it off. Mary J. Blige came through, of course. You know, Mary had to come through and show tribute to her boy. And y'all remember, Puff was one of the people behind Interscope Records in the early 2000s, and then transitioned to Bad Boy. Y'all, they bought Shine out. At first I was like, is that Barack Obama on stage? Is that Barack Hussein Obama? Who is this? Is that Key and Peele? Is this a sketch? No, it was Shine. I thought they was gonna bring in old boy. Is Barrington? What's the reggae artist's name? You couldn't. Hey, if he would have did Bonnie and Shine, I would have lost it. That's my jam. But Shine was there, remixed the words to the lyrics, made it more relevant to where he is and who he is today. Had his little suit on. It was good to see him. Then transitioned to the Locks. missing Styles P. Again, Styles be having stuff to do. He was probably selling juices or something, so he couldn't make it. But Jadakiss and Chic Luch came through and did what needed to be done. Busta Rhymes showed up. Shout out to Busta. It's always good to see him perform because we don't really get to see him that often. And that's something that we need to change because low-key, Busta got one of the best live performances than a lot of these rappers. Our girl Faith Evans showed up. There was, they did I Be Missing You. Faith sings the chorus there. They had Maverick City choir there as well. And then that was a tribute to Kim Porter. Puff, at one point, I thought he was going to catch the Holy Ghost because he was yelling, "I miss you, Kim," like he was about to faint, okay? I hope that brother is doing better because at that point in time, I was like, oh, this ain't going to end well. But then Little Kim came out and, of course, rounded out the whole tribute. When it was time to present the award, Babyface gave a speech, and then Kanye West appeared. Now, let me first say this. Them outfits Kanye be wearing, they got to be hot as fuck. Like, they got to be hot. Ain't no way in the world you can tell me that Kanye West don't be sweating bullets and the inside of them jackets don't be smelling like straight underarm and dookie. You can't tell me otherwise. Okay? You can't tell me otherwise. It was hot in there in that outfit, I guarantee you. And we didn't even see if he had the boots on. If he had the boots on too, please, it's going to smell like swamp. Then at one point, he couldn't even breathe. Listen, they had to have an EMT on standby because your boy Ye was about to faint. You can hear him breathing and struggling through that mask. What I want them to do, because listen, while I may feel the way that I feel about Kanye West, and while I probably won't be buying those outfits, I do want his design team to go back to the drawing board and make him a little more breathable, because that showed that if people are going to be wearing this, it needs to be breathable fabric. That way, if somebody faint, they don't sue Kanye West because he made the design, and the design caused people to faint and pass out due to suffocation. Hey, just putting that out there. Okay. He had the longest speech ever. We got through it. Puff gave a long thanks, shouted out everybody in the business, in the industry that worked for him, worked with him, got him to this point, gave a noticeable or gave a notable tribute to his mother, who he pretty much takes his mother around with him all the time. He even shouted out Cassie, which was very interesting, because one thing Puff hadn't done, Puff wasn't the one to be talking about his relationships. Like, we knew he was with Kim Porter, but Puff ain't the one that's going to be discussing, shouting people out. He didn't really start talking about Kim until after she passed away, for real. But he shouted out Cassie for holding him down during the dark times. So overall, it was nice to see the tribute. I love me some Puff Daddy. And overall, the BET Awards was just a good night as well. I say this once, I say it again. I do not be knowing these artists, y'all. I don't know who none of these people are. It's a couple of them I know, but I really don't be knowing. The big moments that took me by surprise that I liked the most, Brandy did the collaboration with Jack Harlow. As y'all know, they had a little fun back and forth beef because Jack Harlow didn't know Brandy and Ray J were siblings. So Brandy did that internet viral diss record towards Jack Harlow. He brought her out and they did the collabo. It was good. Then Lotto had the surprise guest pop up with the Mariah Carey, which was good to see Mimi hitting them high notes. Overall, a good old night. What did y'all think about the BET Awards, just in general, though? What were your favorite parts? What were you hoping to see more of? I was hoping that Carl Thomas and them would have came out for the Bad Boy Puff Daddy tribute. Y'all know I love me some Carl Thomas. Listen, I'm trying to get me a dog. I'm going to name the dog Carl Thomas. Don't sleep. If you see me out here with a puppy and I be calling the puppy Carl Thomas, that's his name. Okay? It's either going to be Carl Thomas, Bobby Brown, or if he like a white dog, his name going to be John B. So I'm just giving you the heads up. But what did y'all think? Let me know. Hit me up on social media and give me your thoughts on this year's BET Awards. Speaking of performances, I watched the Mario versus Omarion / Bobby Valentino, Pleasure P, Ray J, Sammy versus last week. And that was probably the worst versus I've ever seen. I mean, y'all, I ain't even gonna hold you. It was the longest versus I've ever seen. It was the weirdest versus we've seen since the early days of quarantine versus. I'm talking about, it was so much going on. That thing was so long. I turned it off for a minute, came back. It was still on, and it was still only in that first part. And y'all know I'll be turning off no verses. I'll be like locked in. But at one point, I was like, y'all, I'm fatigued. Let me out of here. Okay, let me give a recap first. Somebody in the music community told Swiss Beats and Timbaland that we needed an undercard that consists of 4 people who all wanted and thought that this versus was about them completely and wanted 4 hours to shine and sing songs that some of us don't even know. Now, y'all know I love me some R&B. I love me some male R&B singers. I love me some Bobby Valentino. That first Bobby Valentino album had me in a choke hold. I'm talking about complete, pure suffocation. Kanye West face mask. Can't breathe. Locked down with my throat area. I was in a chokehold. So I was happy to see Bobby Valentino because he be jamming. But I ain't need to see them other people. And we ain't need to see 3 hours worth. So they paired Bobby Valentino up with Ray J. And then they paired Sammy up with Pleasure P. And it was back and forth. They were swapping songs, trying to get enough jams in and times in with the allotted space that was considered the undercard. But what it turned into was the most weirdest, non-singingest, grouchiest versus y'all. Okay, so highlights of the thing. Ray J blamed his off-key notes on his baby. Y'all, he picked up the baby and was singing, said the words, when my baby's born, till my baby's born, 40,000 times. And then was like, something like, I can't sing, I got the baby in my arms. Sammy was grouchy and fussing, and he was like a mad R&B singer. It was just weird. Then Pleasure P, I don't know much about him, but I guess he was Pleasure Ping. Bobby V was on the piano and was the smallest man I've ever seen. It was just, y'all, oof. It was a lot. It was a lot. Then we finally got to the main event. Now, leading into this, I've learned my lesson from verses of more recent. If you watch verses and you know the format, you have to perform if you are a singer and a young singer. The format for young artists is designed to highlight performances, not songs. So if you're going off of album and discography and you think, they're going to win because the song's more jamming, that means nothing, because we saw what happened with the Lox versus Dipset. If you stack them up as far as which songs bang out the hardest, a lot of people, myself included, said Dipset was going to win. But when we got there, we realized, oh shoot, you have to perform. And when you talk about performance, that changes the game. We saw during that one and this one. So Omarion, yes, he don't got the strongest vocals. And I didn't really remember because I don't be going to no Omarion concerts. But we knew Mario could sing. But by the end of the night, Mario dog walked Omarion, honey. He had all of the vocals, all the pipes. Omarion wasn't doing too good. He wasn't doing too good. So if you can't sing live, Verzuz isn't for you. In R&B, in this format, this new performance format, you can't do it if you can't sing. Now, when we were at home during quarantine, it was designed for playing songs. Remember Erykah Badu versus Jill Scott? That was one of the best verses They didn't even have to sing. They were in front of their computers, streaming from wherever they were. So it did not matter. They were not on stage. Even Brandy and Monica, they were together. It was a closed set. There was no performance aspect. Yes, they sung a little bit, but it wasn't okay, next I'm going to perform. Now you go, now you go, now you go. But now, if you can't show up, don't even do it, because you're gonna make yourself look crazy. With that said, now, it's always talking about who the next Verzuz should be and who should battle so and so. And the topic of Chris Brown battling Usher always comes up. And I actually am against that, because I don't think it's a good matchup. I think Chris Brown should battle Drake, because they're a similar type of artist, same demo a little bit and same era. But now I do want Usher and Chris Brown to battle, because Usher gonna dog walk Chris Brown, and I'm sick of y'all disrespecting the king of R&B. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of y'all being, Chris Brown to beat Usher. Chris Brown can't sing live. No disrespect. I might get in a little hot water for this. Chris Brown, from what I've seen, cannot sing live. We know Usher can sing live. So if you put both of them in that same scenario, your boy gonna be out here looking crazy. I'm just saying. But maybe that'll shut y'all up so we can recognize who the true king is. But going back to the verses from this past week. Y'all, Omarion and his brother Orion brought out watermelon, was eating the watermelon on stage. Omarion brought out the crumpers from You Got Served. They did it for Lil Saint. He brought out Jeremiah, and that was Youngberg came out earlier for Ray J. Like, the whole night was just wild and long. And I hope I don't have to watch this one ever again. I'm still going to support Verzuz in the Verzuz format, because I be having me a good old time. And if it's in LA and it interests me, I'm going to go in person. But y'all, I could have missed this one. Ooh, it was stressful. With that said, were y'all looking forward to it? If you are a younger Black News listener, because y'all know I'm low-key, I'm old. Not old, but I'm old enough to be like, I know what I like. But were you looking forward to Omarion and Mario? Like, were y'all one of the people like, give me this gonna be the matchup? Was that you? If so, let me know what you thought about the outcome, and did it turn out the way that you thought or predicted? Hit me up on social media at Cornelia. Next, I really want to talk about Roe versus Wade. Roe v. Wade. I really want to talk about this. Now, while it is not a completely Black people specific topic, it is a topic that affects Black women. So, and it's sitting on my spirit. So I really would like to discuss this. Now, Roe v. Wade, that is basically the abortion policy, the right for women to have abortions in this country. Depending on different state guidelines, it can be at different points. Different states have it up to a different amount of time. Some of the southern and conservative states, they've been trying to ban and outlaw abortions, y'all, since forever. Some of the liberal states are a little more lenient, but the Supreme Court basically overturned Roe versus Wade after around 50 years. Now, first, let me say this, and I know there is no point of saying this, but I need to say this. We told y'all this was going to happen. Every time election season comes up, we have the same old people talking about how voting doesn't matter and Black people don't need to vote because these things don't affect us. And I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that because it doesn't have anything to do with us anyway. And every year we have to say, yes, it does because of X, Y, and Z. And if you know anything about me, you know one of my main rebuttals to that is, yes, it does because of the Supreme Court. We also told y'all this for the simple fact of, once you start messing with one set of rights, every other one is on the table. So if you don't think abortion applies to you, that's cool. Supreme Court also has voting rights on the table. They also have LGBTQ plus rights on the table, contraceptive, affirmative action. All of these things are now on the table. So again, if you still in 2022 and seeing how hard people going to take your right to vote away, but you somehow in the back of your mind, you still think our votes don't matter, then you a dumbass. At this point, you just dumb. And I'm open to debate. If you a Black News listener and you really think voting doesn't matter overall, let me know. I'm open to that discussion. Because even if you don't think it matters on the president level, on a national level, locally, the people that you vote for affect the young boys and girls in your neighborhood that begin scooped up by the police, and these judges that be sentencing them, the sheriff, the district attorney, the prosecutors. All of these people in your community have direct reflections on who are voted for. So miss me with the voting don't matter. Miss me with that. Now, the reason why this has been sitting on my heart, because what I've noticed, especially during this past week in the conversations, a lot of men and women have no clue about or why or how some women may need, will need, and have needed abortions. There have been a lot of people saying stuff like, well, now you can't be irresponsible, and you can't just be getting pregnant. You can't be having hot girl summers and running the streets. You got to wear protection and wear a condom. I bet you won't be out here thotting and doing X, Y, and Z. You keep your legs closed. Y'all, I'm so sorry if some people's perspective is limited due to the people they've chosen to associate with. I'm going to say that again. I'm sorry if some people's perspective is very limited due to the people that they've chosen to associate with. If your only reference at this point, at some of our big ages, or if your only reference for abortion is a result of irresponsible, fun, unprotected sex, you should be ashamed of yourself. To me, that says you only know one type of person. You only got one type of friend, family member, or you probably don't know them at all. You just reading Facebook and Instagram posts and you regurgitating that without doing some research, because we know that's what happens. And I'm sorry if I'm scolding y'all, the Black News listeners. I know it ain't y'all. I know it's the other ones, but I'm mad. Okay. I'm mad, and I feel like I have the right to be mad, especially in this case. To me, that says that you haven't diversified your friend group. Maybe all you know are young girls who haven't gotten themselves in certain situations. You haven't asked no doctors no questions. You ain't read no books, no articles. You ain't even had conversations with peers in general to come to the conclusion that everybody that want abortions is just because they out here wilding. Do y'all know if you have a miscarriage, sometimes those cells, once the baby miscarriages, sometimes those cells don't pass naturally. Sometimes they're still in you. And in a lot of cases, you need an abortion, whether it's an old school abortion or pills, to get those cells out. And in some cases, if those cells don't come out, it can actually cause infertility. It can cause illness. In some cases, it can cause death. So taking abortions out of the question for all reasons, just completely wiping off the table. So now if you have a miscarriage and the cells don't pass naturally, we just supposed to die? For y'all who only equate abortions to having fun sex and y'all can't put two and two together, your solution now for your friends and family who be out here having miscarriages and need abortion pills or traditional abortions to pass those cells, you saying that your friends should now die? That's what you saying? Do y'all know when you have an ectopic pregnancy, and if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, that in most cases that can be fatal. And in most cases, you have to have an abortion immediately. Do you know if you don't and it ruptures, you could die? Women die. So that, to me, that don't sound to me like, oh, she out here wilding and having fun. You better keep your legs closed. To me, that could be a situation with a man and a woman who are married, who plan to have a family, and now guess what? She gonna be dead. Because from your perspective, there's never a need for abortion. Do y'all know sometimes when women get pregnant, first of all, having a child is very aggressive on the body. Women have been dying in child support since the beginning of time. Not child support, sorry. Women have been dying during childbirth since the beginning of time. Do y'all know that in some cases, and I've seen this one, I had a friend who's affected this way, that At one point, it was either her or that baby. The baby was literally attacking her body. And it was even too early for it to technically be considered a baby if we want to get technical. But it was to the point where a decision had to be made, and it was either try to carry that baby and die. And so her and the baby probably would die both because the baby wouldn't have survived. It was too little. Or have an abortion. So in this case, for all the people who think that abortions are completely unnecessary in every case. So now that person, your family member, that woman is just supposed to die. Like, give me a break. I'm really tired of people speaking on things, being loud and vocal about things, but having no knowledge or education or even backing to have valid support for what they're saying. I'm done with it. Women get sexually assaulted and need to have abortions. Women, again, have miscarriages. There are a number of reasons why people get put in a situation. Hell, let's just say she got pregnant. She ain't want the damn baby. She should have the right to decide if she has an abortion or not. Guess what? If you don't want an abortion, don't have one. It's simple. Now, I know some people are going to be like, that all of those scenarios, there's a small percentage. There's a large percentage of women who do get them because they just don't. They're irresponsible. Show me the numbers, because the last statistics I pulled up, there were small numbers for all of them. And there was a large percentage, over 90-some percent of the reason why they were having abortions. It was undisclosed. So you don't know why people getting abortions. But again, show me the data. We're very open to having those debates. I say all that to say, I understand people's religious beliefs and their personal viewpoints, but in some cases, we have science and medicine for a reason. Everybody don't believe in the same God. So banning something for everybody because you believe in something doesn't make sense. And again, in this whole idea of separating church and state, and I'm a Christian, I love the Lord, but I also have common sense. And I know, again, if it's about a woman about to die or some cells need to be taken out of her body, take the cells out of her body. We're also doing all of this in a country that ain't got universal health care, no free child care option, high rates of maternal mortality, no paid family leave and medical leave. We don't even got enough baby formula on the shelves. So all of this for what? The point in all of this, and I've been saying this since the days of Happy Hour, A Shot of Conversation, the podcast we had for years. All of this is not about the preservation of life. The people who are pushing this do not care about these babies and these kids, because if that was the case, they would be flooding the foster care system, taking home children and adopting them and raising them as their own, but they're not. This is about preserving whiteness in this country. By the year 2045 or 2050, white people will become the minority. Also, adding on top of that, the majority of women in this country that get abortions are white women. So what do you do when your population is drastically declining? One, you shut the border down. You don't let no immigrants in. Because who will be the majority in this country in 2045? It ain't black people. It's the Latino Hispanic population. So you shut the border down. Then that is the start of increasing the population. There is also no incentive to offer these additional resources, because then people of color will take advantage of those resources. And we don't want that. They just want to stay in the majority. So it's about increasing that demographic. Don't get it twisted and don't sleep. That's what it's about. It is not about preserving life. So all of y'all who on the side, it's about preserving life. That's cool. And you can believe that. But the people you standing behind, they not standing for that. So you look stupid. Not to say caring about life is stupid, but I'm saying if your leader is playing you, then at this point, you stupid. Buttoning all of that up. Yes, we all are entitled to our own beliefs. If you don't believe in abortion, I support your decision. But two things can be true at the same time. I believe that you can be a supporter of banning abortions, but I also believe that you can be a supporter of banning abortions, but knowing that they're still necessary and not actually wanting them to be banned for medical reasons. Just because you don't believe in abortions doesn't mean that they have to be completely off the table, because what's going to be happening is your friends and family, they're going to start dying. Then what? And this Supreme Court, they on that bench. They ain't going nowhere. So this policy is set in stone. And like I said, if you don't believe in abortion, don't have one. Period. What are y'all thoughts around it? Are y'all as pissed off as I am? Do y'all see what's coming next? What do y'all think is coming next? I think LGBTQ plus rights going to be on the table. And guess what? When that shit hit the fan, it's going to be on. Protests for days. Don't listen. We in for a dog fight, and your girls all in. Because one thing I do not agree with is going backwards as people and as a country. This idea that we need to minimize people and take their rights for whatever selfish reasons, that's shit dumb. And we need to rise up and we need to stand up. So what are y'all thoughts around all of this, Roe versus Wade, in the Supreme Court in general? And, are you indifferent? And if you have a debate or a rebuttal for me, hit me up. I'm definitely open to that. Y'all know where to find me, at Cornelia on social media. To summarize this week's episode, 1, Diddy gon' Diddy and Puff Daddy gon' Puff Daddy. The Bad Boy tributes gonna be Bad Boy tributes. They're gonna be jamming every time. And the BET Awards is our award show. Verzuz need to shorten these long ass nights only when it's not jamming and extremely entertaining in a positive way. If we gonna be here for the mess, we gonna be here for the mess. But I'm talking about in regards to me, I got certain criteria that I need in order for me to completely get behind some of these matchups. I'ma still watch. And lastly, Roe v. Wade got me in my feelings. I'm gonna be in my feelings, and I'm going to continue to be in my feelings as we finish off 2022 and head into these primaries, and then when it's time to do the big election all over again for president, I'm going to be on it, and I'm going to be on some of y'all asses because y'all need to do better. Which topic in particular connected with you or resonated the most? Which ones didn't? Are you indifferent? Hit me up and let me know overall. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars, and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know, so I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.